Welcome back for the last of our 20 video series in process serving. I've spent 10 or 11 hours sharing with you from how to get your process serving license to serving process to sharing about business, spending less than you make, which is a good idea. I've only touched on once or twice what not to do. Don't ever hit anybody. Don't want to do that. Don't ever curse anybody out. That's silly things you would never do. If you're easily offended or grossed out, you may want to turn away for about a minute or two. If you haven't read the headline, I'm going to bring this down for you, and I'll just let you do the reading. Yes, you're reading that correctly. A little background on this. This was sent out via an email through one of the members on the NAP site. A couple of things I haven't mentioned. And I'll mention them briefly here. You're all very much aware of how many cameras there are everywhere. Security footage, surveillance footage. It's getting to the point where I don't even notice them anymore. As an aside, and I'll bring that down in the frame. There we go. When you approach a house, you can scan it and see if there's cameras. If there's a camera, I always smile and wave. I don't care if they're watching. I want them to know that I know the cameras are there. Just like I mentioned earlier, when you stand at the door using your peripheral vision to watch for movement, and I'll wave at it. Sometimes your serve will go smoothly. You'll have fun, you'll interact, you'll banter with the individual for a few moments and head out and your day goes on. Or they close the door, you thank them, you leave. When your emotions get ahead of your logic, when your gut tells your body what to do, that's a recipe for disaster. Okay, I am back. What I'm going to do here is let this play for just about 2 or 3 minutes. This young lady does a better job explaining than I can. And this falls under what never to do. Don't ever do it. Don't think about it when you're serving processes and the story behind the video. There you go.
We are known for our bold tastes, and some people found that a little bit strong.
If you don't like that dark roast, we've created a coffee for you. What is a beautiful light roasted coffee?
Break it down. KHOU reported that an unnamed process server stopped by the home of Mitch Zarsky and asked if he was, in fact, Mitch Zarsky.
As an aside here, if the young lady had done her homework, is the paper subservable? Does the individual, what car does he drive? Is it in the driveway? What is his description? Height, weight, hair color? How she handles herself at the door? All that factors into it. And for all of the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of serves that are done on a regular routine basis smoothly, the one that is an embarrassment to the whole culture is captured
absolutely
and
crazy
put out there for the world
viral.
to
Seemingly
see.
sweet grandma caught urinating spitefully on a man's
By dropping
driveway.
her trousers, as you can see.
Break it down.
There it
KHOU
goes.
reported
And
that an
urinating
unnamed process
on his
server
driveway.
stopped by the
Sweet.
home of Mitch
And now here to
Zarsky
talk
and
about
asked
this
if he was, in
delightful
fact, Mitch
incident
Zarsky.
is homeowner
Well, assuming
Mitch
that she was a
Zarsky. Hi, Mitch, how
salesperson,
are you?
He said no. Confused or frustrated,
Well, I'm
she
very
left.
well.
But
so
as you can
I have
come
a
on the
tweet
door
here
again,
that I
she
wanted to show.
decided
This
to
is
make
Dixon Tam, who said, now that's a subpoena. Process server grandma caught urinating spitefully on driveway. I have to ask, can you just tell us, how did this all come about? I mean, how did you sort of interact with this lady in the first place, and what leads you to believe that she was a process server?
Well, she came to my gate. I was working outside at the time, and that's when we had the first meeting where I told her I was not him, and she left.
Alrighty, I'm going to interject here. Yeah, I'm going to interject a thought here as far as how the whole situation could have been avoided. Falling back on several of the premises I used in an earlier videos. professionalism, pre-planning.
Statement.
For
By
example,
dropping her trousers,
is the paper
as you can see,
subservable?
there it
In
goes,
this instance, it
and
wasn't an issue because you
urinating
saw the
on his
gentleman at the
driveway.
gate. It was
Sweet.
him.
And now here
Did
to
she have
talk
a
about
physical
this
description?
delightful
Evidently
incident
not.
is
Did she know what he
homeowner
was
Mitch
driving?
Starsky. Hi, Mitch. How are
Evidently
you?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Well, I'm very well. So
What
I
I would
have
have
a
done,
tweet here that I wanted
or
to
how
show.
to
This is
avoid
Dixon
it
Tam, who said, "Now that's a
was, again, never ask a
subpoena
question you don't know the
process
answers
of a
to.
grandma
You know
caught
what the gentleman
urinating
looks like,
spitefully on driveway."
the cars and
I
so
have
on.
to ask, can you just tell us,
Or
how did this
something
all
like
come
this.
about? I mean, how did you sort of interact with this
Approached
lady in the
house.
first place, and
He was
what
working
leads you to
behind the
believe
gate,
that she
so
was a
there
process
was an
server?
eyeball. She could see him. He could see her.
Well,
They talked.
she came to my gate.
And
I
you
was
do
working
what's
outside at
called
the
an
time, and that's when
erroneous
we had the
conclusion.
first
You ask a
meeting where I
question
told
that
her I
the
was
person
not
thinks you're a
him,
little
and
bit
she
off,
left. And after
which throws them off.
going
and
back
gives you
into
the
my
idiot,
house,
for
I
example.
noticed my video
Let's say the
had
house
been
was at
tripped, so
123
I
Elm Street.
reran
Walk
the
up and
footage, and she, in fact, had gone
"Excuse
down
me,
the
sir,
street,
is this
turned around, came back,
123
and
Elm
stood at my
Street?"
door for about
He's going
10
to
minutes
say,
knocking on
yes.
the door. I, of course, didn't hear it because I was
He got his
outside.
curiosity.
But
No question.
the next day
If
I
he's
was
working
gone. When I got
outside,
back
he doesn't
home,
look
I
like a
noticed it
laborer-
had been tripped
layperson
again, and
could
that's
be.
found out she
Say,
came back around
"Sir,
9
do
in
you-
the morning,
do you
and then
live here?"
came back around 1 and did
Yes
what you
or
see
no,
here.
or what's it to you?
I mean, you know,
Say,
it
well, I'm
looks
just
like a
looking
pretty
for,
spiteful act, given what you
Mitch,
said.
he
I mean, do you
mispronounces
feel like it was a
Zabasky
spiteful,
or
a
something
spiteful
like
thing
that.
that she did?
Most of the
No
time,
question.
people
I mean,
will
if you
correct
actually
you
look at the
when you
video while she's
mispronounce
doing
their
what she's
last
doing,
name.
there's a home
you
under
enunciate
construction
it
right
as a
next
question.
door. You can actually see
For
the
example, if it's Smith,
porta potty directly behind
make
her.
it
So
Smythe.
this wasn't
So
a
it would be
case of
Mr. Smythe or
she
Smith or
needed
something
to
like that.
use the
Then he'll
facilities. This
correct it.
was
Then you
this
ask
was
another
this
question
was
with the first name.
animalistic. This
Mitch,
was
right?
marking her territory,
As soon
getting
as
me
he says
back,
yes,
whatever you want to
you're
call
served.
it.
He's served.
Yeah, well, we have had some
If
comments
not,
on this, as you
you
I'm sure
know
you can
that's the
imagine. This
correct
is boring
address.
file
You
clerk
know he
who
would
said, well,
match
at
the
least she
description,
didn't
height, weight, hair
poop,
color, race,
which
and
I
so
guess
on.
is thanks for small
If he won't
mercies.
take the papers from you, place them at the feet, move on, that is a good serve and would have avoided a tremendous amount of embarrassment. She'd still have her license and she wouldn't be facing criminal charges. So just food for thought, guys. Just think before you act. Pre-plan. Get information. Not only is it going to save you money on a day-by-day basis by working smarter, not harder, it's also going to help you avoid situations similar to this. With that, I'm going to wrap this thing up by going over a review of what we've covered in the last 20 videos. And I may shift from screen to screen. I really enjoy the positive, inspirational pictures, such as the one you're seeing now. So, to go back and recap, we've talked about how to become a process server, where to go, which courts, where to pay, how to test, fingerprinted, walk you through the process so you know what to do as far as getting your license. We've also talked about the continuing education requirements, knowing your documents, which papers to serve, for example, the summons with the complaint, order of protection, subpoenas dus tucum, injunction against harassment, what they look like, how to set up a file, how to do the pre-planning, organizing the documents, knowing the routes or route you're going to go on, how to stay organized, don't miss deadlines, how to make the most of your time, how to make the most use of your time while you're on the road, how to minimize the time you're on the road. You make money doing serves, not driving. Driving is a necessary evil. It's better to do less driving and more serves in less time. We covered that. We covered the types of service: personal, subservice, corporate. For example, summons can be subserved, but orders of protections always need to be personally served. How to serve on governments, counties, agencies, business, corporations, international corporations, statutory agents, and the like. I've walked you through how to do a serve and how to not do a serve. The safest place to park, how to approach a house, where to stand, how to present yourself at the house, how to ask if the defendant is home, as I did just a few moments ago with the erroneous conclusion, how to best identify yourself, and how to announce that you've been served, how to serve the hard to serve, things to look for when at the house, how to tell if it's vacant, how to trap a door, weeds, dust accumulated in the doorway, accumulated papers, see if the water is on, see if the power is on. Are there any noise? Is there noise in the house? If you can see into the home, is it occupied? Talk to the neighbors. What questions to ask? How to interview the neighbors. Waiting down the street with your foot off the brake so you don't stand out. And how to catch them unaware. How to get in and out safely. Then, after the service is complete, what information to write down on your notes, what to do, what to complete with the certificate or affidavit of service, what to include, the margins, the headlines, where do you get the certificates, and how you file them with the court. In addition, we talked about marketing. Firstly, we talked about you are a business person first that's chosen the profession of process serving to earn an income, earn a living. The same rules that apply to a massage therapist, landscaper, CPA, in creating business and getting individuals to contact them applies to you. Marketing is marketing, advertising is advertising. Clients, prospects, leads, all people that are interested in what you have to offer, how to get them, and how can I say this? How to position yourself so they can find you, contact you, and then get you money to provide what you're offering, service of process. Different types of marketing, online, offline. We went in and spoke about the importance of a website, how to pick out a very unique, fun, interesting, challenging challenging name for your business, which would be turned into your website or universal resource locator, your www.thebestcourtprocessserverintheNation or the world.com. How to leverage that into exposure. We talked about pay per click, Google AdWords, AdWords searches. We also talked about offline advertising. Offline marketing, creating business with attorneys, how to approach, how to follow up, how to track, the law of averages. If you speak to 10 people, God bless you if you can get 10 yeses. You're probably going to get rejected 10 times. And once you get rejected 10 times, you're 10 times closer to getting a yes and moving forward. Just because you hear a no today doesn't mean it's a no forever. Remember what Thomas Jefferson said, if you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. We've also talked about the importance of a business plan. If you're going to go somewhere in a car, GPS is good, but chances are you've looked at a map online or have a paper map that you've laid out just so you understand the general directions of where you want to go. Same thing with a business plan. It doesn't have to be very detailed, but you really need to have one. We've talked about that. The importance of maintaining a positive attitude, tying it in with goal setting, how to set goals, how to achieve them, that goals are the successful realization of a worthwhile dream. And as long as you're moving in the directions of accomplishing your goals, you're living your dream. How to use SMART goals, what the acronym stands for. How to also utilize and take charge of your time through good, competent time management and some tools to utilize that. And again, it all goes back to working smarter, not harder. What to do when the phone rings. Answer, it's a good start. Who answers it? You do. What to say. Pre-planning with a written out script. The importance and value of having a real live person answer the phone. versus thank you for calling. We're not here to take your call at the present time, and people will not leave a message. I talked about the difference in generations, such, for example, a baby boomer versus a Generation X versus a Y versus a millennial. The millennial is not going to answer, is not going to listen to his voice or her voice messages. A baby boomer will. When a millennial doesn't get an answer, they hang up. Or they'll send a text. When you respond to a millennial's inquiry or a phone number, they will occasionally leave the message. Or you can call back on your smartphone. You'll have their phone number. Even if they don't leave a message, no one else will. You call them back and send them a text. You may leave the best message in the world. If they don't listen to it, it's of zero value. So how to communicate across generational lines or generational differences. How to control with questions. How to only ask questions you know the answers to. How to lead the folks down the path of making a good decision. How to present your USP, unique selling proposition. How to address their needs, their concern, their fears, because people will do business with those folks that they like and trust, and how to build a like and the trust. How to utilize positive attitude with your voice instead of sounding like somebody just died, versus a very positive, energetic outlook. We talked about keywords, long-tail keywords, specific keywords. We also talked about search engine optimization. Now that you have your billboard website, how do you promote it? How do you promote it for free or very little money? If you want to kickstart it, how to use AdWords, pay-per-click, Google, keyword research, and so on. Went into the importance and the value of backlinks. How to get them for free today. How to utilize them, how to leverage them. What happens when a link is broken? As an example, that happened on the Arizona State Process Service Association website. Nothing negative about the organization. Whoever's responsible for the website is costing them business and doing a disservice to their customers or members, because they're not keeping up on it. Remember, in business, it's not the little things that'll cause you it's not the big things that'll cause you to fail. It's inattention or lack of attention to the little things that will cause you to fail. We went on to talk about social marketing, LinkedIn, how to set up a LinkedIn page, how to utilize it, the importance of LinkedIn groups, what to do when you interact and you talk with the groups, in the groups, what a signature file is, what to put in it. Everything focusing on driving traffic back to the website, which is your 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week salesman. How to maximize the exposure so your goal of becoming #1 in an organic search on Google can be realized in a very short period of time, utilizing some of the tips, tricks, and techniques that I covered in video 12 about leveraging exposure, refreshing the value of content, the value of good content, how to outsource, the importance of Fiverr to get a website, a simple website done for $5, and then Tenor and 25er to be able to leverage other people's time. If you're like me and you're not very good designing and building websites, then don't do it. Instead of spending 2 hours trying hard to figure something out, go out and visit 3, 4, 5, 8 attorney offices with the same 2 hours and let somebody charge you $5 or $10 or $15 and do your website for you. The better use of time, which gets right back into time management. Prioritizing, making the important things, and keeping the important things, the important things. Don't worry about a full trash can when you don't have any service to do. Trash can will be tomorrow. Go out and hustle up some business. One last analogy, and I'm going to wind up with this phenomenal motivational speaker. Several times during the course, you've heard Zig Ziglar, Les Brown in previous videos, and myself talk about the only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary. As was mentioned earlier, Zig Ziglar, you don't walk up to the stove with a stack of wood next to it, matches, newspaper, pine cones, and say, "Give me heat and I'll put some wood in you." It doesn't work that way. First you build a fire in the stove, and you wait, and then you will get your heat. Or as Zig Ziglar used in the other video, when you walk up to a water pump, the old kind with the handle, first you have to do the work and trust that water will come out before the water starts to come out, and then you have an unlimited supply of water. You have the tools, you have the drive, you have the motivation, you have the goals. But unless you can stay motivated every day, day in and day out, and persevere and get past the failure, the rejection, the frustration, the flat tires, the car troubles, people not being home, client troubles, if that grinds you down, you're not going to make it. With that, I'd like to introduce you to Les Brown and one of the best motivational speeches of all times. And I will see you on the other side.
You've got greatness within you. You have the ability to do things that you can't even begin to imagine. You have talents and skills in you that you haven't even begun to reach for yet. The ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the ideas, the dreams, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, and that you, for whatever reason, you never acted on those ideas. You never pursued that dream. You never used those talents. We never saw your leadership. You never used your voice. You never wrote that book. And there they are standing around your bed looking at you with large angry eyes saying, we came to you and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died today, what ideas, what dreams, what abilities, what talents, what gifts will die with you? Maybe that's why Jim Rohn said, when the end comes for you, let it find you conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. Maybe that's why Henry David Thoreau said, oh God, to reach the point of death, only to realize that you've never lived, only to realize that you've never scraped the surface of your potential. If you want to make your dream become reality, the people that are running at their dreams know that it's possible that you can live your dream, that it's necessary, that you're relentless, that you have a plan of action, that you are creative. See, there are two types of relationships. There are nourishing relationships and toxic relationships. Nourishing relationships, they nourish you, they bring the best out of you. They challenge you, they hold you accountable. They keep you focused. They bring the best out of you. Toxic relationships, they drain you. There are some people that you will never be able to get into business with. Why? Because they know too much about you. And they can't forget that. They can't shake that. You've got to look at your relationships, and Jim Rohn said this. Look at the people in your life and ask this question. What is this relationship doing to me? What is it doing to me? Am I growing spiritually, mentally, financially, intellectually? What is it doing to me? If you're a young person, does it put you on the honor roll or get you on the detention list? What is it doing to you? There's a new term in psychiatry called relational illness. There's some people that can make you sick. Well, can I change them? No. It's a full-time job changing yourself. And there's some people that are so negative they can walk into a dark room and begin to develop. The people that are running after their dream know they're going to have hard times. They keep on running because they're saying within themselves, I'm the one, I'm the one. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. The people that are running after their dreams are the people that are hungry. Most people never achieve their goals because they don't know that they don't know and they think they know. Most people are just like Zig, who's I consider the #1 motivational speaker on the planet. He said that most people like the lumberjack whose wood production dropped by 40% because he wouldn't take the time to sharpen his axe. Those of you that are here for the first time, if you want to come back again, I can tell you the veterans who are here and been coming for 40 years or more, those are individuals who spend time working on themselves, developing themselves, expanding their minds. They know, as a man thinketh, so is he. They know in order to have the things tomorrow that others won't have, you've got to be willing to do the things today others won't do, like work on your mind. And with that kind of courage, with that kind of affirmation and reason to empower me, I got a saying that when life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. All right? I told Mr. Washington I wanted to become a disc jockey. Someone asked me to tell this story. And he said, Les Brown, he said, if you want to do anything worthwhile in life, you've got to be hungry. And so I started working to develop myself. He said, I want you to practice every day being a disc jockey. I said, but I don't have any job now. He said, it doesn't matter. He said that it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. So every day I was working to develop myself. And that's what you must do. And as I was working to develop myself, I applied for a job as a disc jockey at WMBM on Miami Beach. I went to a guy named Milton Butterball. I said, how you doing, Mr. Butterball? I'd like to get a job as a disc jockey. He looked at me, he said, do you have any broadcast background? I said, no, sir, I don't. Do you have any journalism background? I said, no, sir, I don't. He said, we don't have any jobs available. I said, yes, sir. I went back to Mr. Washington and I told him. He said, don't take it personally. He said, most people are so negative, they will have to say no 7 times before they say yes. He said, go back again. So I went back again. I said, how you doing, Mr. Butterball? My name is Les Brown. He said, I know what your name is. What do you want? I said, I'd like to know whether or not you have any jobs at disc jockey, sir. He said, didn't I just tell you yesterday we didn't have any jobs? I said, yes, sir, but I know whether or not somebody got laid off or somebody was fired, sir. He said, no one was laid off or fired. Now get on out of here. I came back the next day. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you? He said, fine. What do you want now? I said, I'd like to know whether or not you got any jobs, sir. Didn't I tell you the last 2 days we didn't have any jobs? I said, yes, sir, but I don't know whether or not somebody got sick or somebody died, sir. He said, no one got sick or died. Now don't come back here and throw me out again. I came back the next day like I was seeing you for the first time. I said, hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you? He looked at me with rage. He said, go get me some coffee. I said, yes, sir. And I went to get him some coffee. After a while, I would give their lunch and dinner, and I would go in the control rooms and take the disc jockeys their food, and I would not leave until they would ask me to leave. Then they started trusting me to pick up entertainers that came to town. Entertainers like the Four Tops and the Temptations and Donna Ross and the Supremes. I would drive them all over Miami Beach in the disc jockeys' big long Cadillacs. I didn't have any driver's license, but I was driving like I had some. And one day, one Saturday afternoon, while I was at the radio station, a guy named Rock was drinking while he was on the air. I was the only one there, looking at him through the control room windows, walking back and forth, young, ready, and hungry. I was saying, drink, Rock, drink. Drink, Rock. I'd have gone to get him some more if he'd asked me to. Pretty soon the phone rang, and it was the general manager. And I answered the phone. I said, hello? He said, Les, this is Mr. Klein. I said, I know. He said, Rock can't finish his program. I said, I know. He said, would you call one of the other DJs in? I said, yes, sir. I hung the phone up. I said, now he must think I'm crazy. I called my mom and my girlfriend, Cassandra. I said, y'all turn up the radio and come out on the front porch. I'm about to come on the air.
You got greatness within you. You have the ability to do things that you can't even begin to imagine. You have talents and skills in you that you haven't even
I waited for
begun to
about
reach
20
for
minutes. And I called him back. I said, Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody. He said, young boy, do you know how to work the controls? I said, yes, sir. He said, go in there and don't say nothing here.
As they cross
I said, yes, sir.
He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your
I couldn't wait to get behind those controls. I put on an old Stevie Wonder record called Fingertips. I sat down behind that turntable. I said, look out, this is me, LB, Triple P. Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There were none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction, a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry.
You never wrote that book. And there they are,
I was
standing around
hungry.
your bed, looking at you with large, angry eyes. Saying,
You gotta be hungry.
And only you could have given us life.
He talked about having personal growth before you can attain professional achievement. And when he said, better selling begins with a better you, that put the focus on the kinds of things that I can do myself in taking charge of my life. And when I do that, everything else falls in place.
Les has the ability to inspire people to pursue their passion, to live their dreams, whether they're in sales or personnel, or whether they're just a machine operator. It's very, very important that you have some passion for what you're doing, and Les inspires people to have that passion.
If you want to make your dream become reality, the people that are running at their dreams know
Yeah, he sure does.
that you can live your dream.
Well, I wish all of you the best.
That you're relentless, that you have a plan of action, that you are creative.
There's only one of you.
There are two types
You have
of
the skills,
relationships.
the abilities,
There are nourishing relationships
the tools.
and toxic relationships. Nourishing relationships, they nourish you. They bring the best out of you.
Been
They
nice
challenge
working
you. They
with
hold
you.
you accountable. They keep you focused.
Take care.
They bring
Thank
the
you.
best out
And
of you. Toxic relationships,
goodbye.
they drain you.